Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Final Walkthrough. Johnny Noriega here, and I am very excited about today's special guest joining me today. Little introduction, Monica Navarro. She is a realtor out of Naperville, Illinois. She was licensed in 2018. Immediately hit the ground running. She is part of her President's Club for John Green, her office. She's also Homes.com top 5% in her area. Monica, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
This gloomy day?
Yes.
How was traffic on the way in?
It wasn't that bad, but it was just a long drive.
I was admiring your Tesla when you pulled up. You told me you just got it in
this year.
In March? Mm-hmm. What did you drive before?
Well, I drive a pickup truck, a Sierra.
Oh, okay.
So that truck was wasting a lot of gas.
It's like night and day. Yeah, especially being a realtor all over the freaking state.
So it was definitely a good investment.
Yeah? Is it the one like Hala, like when you push on it? Because I've seen videos where some of the Teslas, like they even though they're electric, they speed up like crazy. That one, you know?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah?
It's
Get
fast.
a little NSCAR driver out there in the
I try
weather?
not to be, but it's a good thing. Like when you're trying to get in front of some other cars or whatnot. So
and you got to be careful because I did notice you have your sign on the side of the door. So make sure you're not
that's not magnetic,
cutting any people off. So what do you have with it?
It's just a sticker.
Oh, okay.
It's a decal.
Okay, all right. I saw the one you posted a story. I think I mentioned it to you. The one on your fridge.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did. So it's the same one.
It's huge.
That one was supposed to go on my truck, but it didn't stick because it's a newer truck.
Yeah, I would have parties every weekend and just have, you want to grab the ice? It's right there. Just make sure you take a picture of that.
Yeah.
So, again, thanks for coming on. How's the market? We're going towards the end of the year, right? As we're filming, we're in late September going into October. Usually around this time, it gets a little colder. People start maybe taking vacations, maybe thinking about next year. What do you normally see in your area and your neck of the woods around this time of year?
At this time, it usually picks back up a little bit for me, especially with people that are renting and or their lease is over and they have to get out. But aside from that, it's usually just kind of following up with clients and then getting the buyers or sellers ready for the spring.
Yeah. And sometimes it gets a little easier towards the end of the year because I feel in this market where there's low inventory, some buyers probably start thinking about next year, maybe, so it might, if you're looking to buy, probably it's a little bit easier to get a house under contract, right? Towards the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially now.
Yeah. But with this market, hopefully they come a little bit more for sale because it's been rough this year with low inventory. So how do you navigate through that? Because a lot of times, on the day-to-day, I talk to clients and, we go over their budget, how much they're bringing to closing, how much their payments. But then, with the high rates, with the high home values, people assume that like, oh, well, I can probably get a deal. I could probably ask for $20,000 under asking, but it hasn't been like that all year, right?
At the beginning, I was noticing that the sellers were not agreeing to helping out with any credits. It was still a bidding war, multiple offers. Now I'm starting to notice that they're a little bit more helpful when it comes to seller credits, especially because they need to help out with either buying the rate down or helping the buyers with the closing costs.
Yeah.
So
and what do you think that is? Is it because it's less people now qualify, right? Affordability is like a huge thing. I've had clients that back when the rates were in the 2s and the 3s, someone making 18, 19 an hour, no problem, you could buy a house. But now you need a cosigner, you need a larger down payment.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason I assume that you're seeing more sellers willing to help to kind of move properties, right?
Correct. Yeah, It's gotten a little harder, but I mean, buyers have to buy. They can't rent forever.
100%. And you deal primarily with first-time buyers, or what's your main focus in your business?
I work with first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel because I feel like every market is different, right? So when it's a seller's market versus a buyer's market versus where it's like in the middle, what's the biggest key when it comes to like, all right, they're pre-approved, ready to go. What's your step? Do you do like an initial consultation? Do you just go to the first house and then, because everyone works different. So how do you work?
I always do a buyer's consultation just because they need to know what they're getting themselves into pretty much. So they need to know about the inspections, the appraisal, what happens if it appraises lower or higher. or if anything goes wrong with the inspection, what are their, rights as a buyer. So I basically go through the entire contract, the entire process with them, so that way they know upfront if anything happens, what we can do. Once we do that, then usually if they'll have a couple properties that they'll want to see already. So we do the buyer's consultation and then we go check out the properties right after.
Nice. Yeah. And how do you deal with the low inventory side of things? Because, when, people talk about '08 where, the market crash, et cetera, but there was a ton of homes to buy from, right? Whereas now you might see a house or two, you put an offer in and we don't get it, right? Sometimes it happens. How do you see buyers reacting now? Do they get discouraged? Like how does that play into how you run your business? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think some of them do get discouraged just because if they want to stay in a certain area or if they have to for work, then they just kind of want to wait it out a little bit. But whoever needs to buy as soon as possible, or if it was, if it's really an emergency kind of, I've noticed that they expand their search radius a little bit to kind of get more options. So.
Yeah, and that goes hand in hand, and that's something that I always preach to my buyers as well. Is I say, hey, look, when it comes to how flexible you are of where you want to live, you kind of open it up for a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, there's always the family that needs to be in the certain school district in a certain area, and sometimes that's where it gets a little bit tougher. What do you do anything specific to stay in front of clients? I kind of see you on social media where you're always having like events. Like
I do.
You love to stay in front of your clients. Is this more past clients, current clients, both?
Everything.
Like everybody. Everyone's invited.
Yeah.
El vecino, the whole nine.
Bring your grandma.
Good. Tell me a little bit about the last one you just did. I think you guys did like a Polo thing, right?
So we host a Polo Invitational. It's at the Airmore Farm in Oswego. So there's a Polo Invitational, and then we just set up a tent, and then there's different agents in each tent. So we just invite our clients, and then they can come out, eat, drink, and have a good time.
How many people think came out this past one?
Probably more than 200 people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we had a bartender, we had a caterer who came out, and they were actually making the food by hand. So the gorditas, quesadillas, tacos, everything was made by hand.
Man, okay.
And then we had Dapper Brews coffee. So he was like brewing, or not brewing, but like preparing the coffee there.
Sure. So then not only do you stay in front of clients that way, but then I assume it helps with these small businesses then that you connect with, right?
Yeah. So that's our main thing too, just supporting small businesses.
Nice.
For the most part.
Very cool. How did this come about? Was it something that your office already did, or
so
you just expanded into it?
Yeah, they've been doing it for 14 years. So whoever wants to opt in, we can. You don't have to, but I always like to do it just because my clients will always ask me if I'm doing it this year or whatnot. So they really love it. So then I feel bad when I don't do it.
I assume. I mean, the horses and all that. I never really follow Polo that much, but do you get I assume you get the concept of it if you're there watching it.
I've honestly never watched a full game of Polo because I've always been with clients.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's nice to have in the background, right?
Yeah.
When everyone cheers, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Anything else that you've either done or plan to do throughout the year? Obviously, that's your major one, right, for the year.
Yeah.
But anything else that you kind of have dabbled into or have thought about doing that you'd like to do?
So I also do pictures with Santa every single year. This is going to be, I believe, the third year that we do it. So we do pictures with Santa, and then we also do like some Easter event. So kind of staying
in front of people.
Yeah, in front of people, and then just having something like every season or every chance we get.
Do you see a direct result in the clientele that goes to these? Because you mentioned they're everybody, right? So past clients, current clients. When it comes to past clients, I assume it helps with like future business if they ever decide to buy or sell. But how does that affect the current clients that you're staying in front of? Is it just another touch to be in front of them?
Just pretty much. getting to meet their family. Like they'll bring their parents or their siblings, and it's nice to meet them as well. And obviously staying in touch with them as well.
No, for sure, for sure. I want to switch gears too. You also mentioned that you also help a lot of people with farm purchases, ranchos.
Yeah.
Right. So, first of all, do you, horses wise, we were talking about Polo. We'll jump into that. Montas caballo, like, are you an expert at that or
not so much?
No, okay.
Because our horses right now are still kind of my brother does and my husband does do as well.
Okay.
But I'm not getting.
Wait, you said
I'm
your
not
horses,
riding them.
so we got some horses.
I have 2 horses. Yeah.
What are their names?
Canelo, and then my brother's horse. His name is Nova.
You guys send me some pictures. I want to see this. That's awesome.
Well, Canelo's on my car.
Oh, is that the one that's on the front? Very cool.
He's still getting trained, so I don't know. He hates me.
Yeah.
But I love him.
Doesn't. Does he freak out when you go to him or what?
No, he's just...
Because that picture looks great. I mean...
He's just very playful all the time. Okay. And he tries to like nibble on everything.
Oh, that would freak me out. Yeah. No, absolutely not. If that's playful, I remember one time we did, there was this, I don't know where we were, but one of the things was you can do like a ride along and they'll help you, And I mean, I got on one and I guess it's like you pull to like stop or if you want them to turn. I don't know if I just kicked it by accident or something, but I almost fell off that horse.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're, pretty heavy animals. Yeah,
they're huge. So. They're huge. No, absolutely. So you just have 2. Any other pets that you have in the...
We have 2 dogs.
Okay.
Chickens and roosters.
Wow.
And then I also had a cat, but he ran away.
Okay, well, I'm sure. Well, when was this? That's pretty sad.
Last week.
Oh, this is recent. All right, we're gonna put a APB out for this cat. What's the cat's name?
My son named him Sir Meows a Lot.
Sir
Meows a Lot.
Sir like Meows a Lot. Oh, it's got a middle name and a last name. Sir Meows a Lot. Sir Meows a Lot. If you're watching this, please come home. We miss you. Please come back.
Our house backs up to a forest preserve, so this is the second cat we've had, and we just never see them again.
Oh man. Yeah, let's hold off on the cat purchases.
But we've had him for a couple months. That's why I just think it's so weird that I don't know where he just disappeared.
Was it like because I hear there's like a difference between like indoor cats and outdoor cats?
Oh yeah, he's an outdoor cat. He didn't like the inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hope you find him. Hopefully it has a happy ending. But going off of like farms and ranchos, when you have clients that are looking for something like that, is it more like a business thing or is it more like I want farms, chickens, horses? What do you notice with clients that want farms?
Both. I would say both. Some of them want to have a business or run some sort of like banquet hall or something, not a hall, but like some sort of event venue. And but then others do just want it just for the land. They have horses or they want farm animals. So it just depends on what it is. But they're very neat properties, and those are my favorite properties to show.
Explore and walk around. No, for sure. What's been like the biggest like acre-wise farm that you've shown that was like, this is amazing? Like
18 acres.
18 acres.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a home on 18 acres.
What city was that?
It's in Leland.
Is that where?
Yeah.
That's where you're going right after this? She got it and she's like, I have to go to Leland after this. I'm like, I don't even know where that is. But so what are like, so for the clients that might want to do business on it, because I've had clients that are like, landscaping companies or construction companies, what's like the top field that they're looking for something like, because when I think of like farm, I think, oh, you want to grow your crops and do this. Yeah. But what's like the top 2 or 1 or 2 professions that you see with people buying farms?
So usually, not necessarily professions, but if they have horses, obviously they want a home with a barn or maybe just with land where they can build a barn and just have their horses there. Okay. These people are boarding these horses and paying $800 a month just for the boarding. Why not just incorporate that into your mortgage and purchase your own, farm 100%. Or farmette? 100%. So that's what I normally see. But usually people with landscape companies or construction companies, they just look for a home with like a small amount of acreage, maybe 3 2 or something.
Yeah.
Just so they can store their cars and
Storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel storage is like it's very like you don't think about it a lot until you need it.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to park your whatever in the driveway or the street in the small subdivision, and then you're getting neighbors in the city. And I've had clients like that you know
the HOA is coming because they have 4 or 5 commercial trucks in in the street.
It's an eyesore, I'm sure. So yeah, you don't think about that, but a farm definitely with that type of land, you don't notice it. Yeah. When you're out there looking, farms in general, I assume, are more of like a niche thing where compared to single family homes, there's not a lot, right? So if someone's watching right now that's like, you know, I've been wanting to get into one. I live in Illinois, right? You service all of Illinois. What are the top 2 or 3, 4 counties or cities that they could probably find a lot of like farms in there?
It just depends on what areas they're looking into. I know there's some here in Joliet. There's I've sold in Leland. I've sold in Plano. I mean, just pretty much. Yeah. It's just where they pop up.
Anything away from like the city, Naperville, you know, places like that.
And all the ones that are close to the cities, and obviously they're a little bit more pricey.
So the closer they are to like big cities, the higher up in price. Okay. Yeah, I had someone look at I think Dixon, Illinois. Okay. Down south. Is that somewhere out there? Okay. A few years ago, Wilmington was one. I think a client of mine bought a farm out there. Okay. And it was just like you mentioned, personal. Yeah. Because I see their stories and it's like cool. It's like they have their horses and they're like feeding their animals, and it's just the way of life that you know they wanna live. And I feel like that's part of like the Mexican culture, right? Yeah. A lot of Latinos, like they first generation or second generation here, and it was either instilled in them or they just want to continue it. And it's great to see. Mexican Independence Day just passed last week. Oh yeah. Did you do any celebrating?
No, I was working.
Oh, no, come on. You got to take a break.
I know.
You work too hard. I feel like a lot of us, especially in this time of year or any time of year, you know, we always work hard. The parade is this coming Saturday in Joliet. Oh, really? So I'll extend that invitation to you early. I think it starts at 1 o'clock here. Oh, okay. Downtown Joliet. And then they had a festival last year. What area do you live in again? Aurora or?
I live in Plano.
Plano. Yeah. Do they have? I know they have some festivals and stuff here and there, right?
They had like a small event last week, but it's a smaller town. Yeah. So the nearest town that does anything for Mexican Independence Day is Aurora. Oh, okay. So yeah, they did the Fiestas Patrias last 2 weeks ago. Yeah. The same week that we had the Polo event. Oh, okay. They did that, and they had I forgot what band came.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure they had like band and mariachi.
Machos or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. But, yeah. No, I had the pleasure of being in Vegas for Mexican Independence Day weekend. And cool. All the hotels had like the mariachi going, and a lot of the clubs and stuff were playing like Mexican music. Hispanic DJs were going off.
That's
so
awesome.
It was great. Yeah. It was great. I would go back around that time again. But
I heard the hotels were down, or some of the hotels
they got hacked.
Down. Yeah.
So thankfully we stayed at Caesars, which was okay. But we walked over to I think Bellagio, and then we were at MGM, and all of their slot machines were off. Like, you know, you walk through and everyone's like playing. All of them are off. I think people were getting checked in by like pen and paper. So I don't know what they were doing for keys. I heard they were doing like manual keys to get into your rooms.
Yeah, I heard they like hacked the card system too. So I'm sure they had to do the manual.
Yeah. So thankfully it wasn't us, because that would have been nuts to deal with. Because I saw the lines for check-in was like out the door. Yeah. And the card tables obviously were still going, but yeah, it was pretty rough. And again, a lot of concerts, a lot of people flying in. They were saying like some 10,000 flights were coming in that weekend alone. So I could just imagine what they were going through. But thankfully we were good. You do traveling? You do any recent vacations, or don't tell me you don't, because you work a lot.
I don't. I haven't gone anywhere in a long time. Yeah. But we are going to California. Nice. Okay. Next week. Nice. It was a super last minute trip.
Really?
We're going to Riverside.
Riverside. Is that more on the south side? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I have a friend that lives out there.
Yeah. We got invited to my cousin's baptism.
Nice.
but I'm swamped with work. And
how long are you going for? Like a day?
We're going for a week. Yeah,
wow.
we're driving there.
Good. Enjoy it. You're probably going to go nuts.
I hate driving.
So this is what someone told me when I went to Vegas, because we went for 5 nights. Delete your Outlook from your phone.
I can't.
And then put your stuff on Do Not Disturb. So they told me this, right? I get to Vegas first night. I delete it. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And then we checked in. And there was like a wait because we got there super early. Mm-hmm. So I think we got there like at noon or 11. And check-in was until like 2 or 3. So that little gap when I turned it off and I deleted the Outlook, I think it lasted maybe like 45 minutes. And then
would be me.
I re-downloaded the Outlook. I turned my phone back on. And even though I had my away message for emails, I responded. And because it's tough. It's tough to break away.
And it's harder too when you have deals. I mean, you have a team, so I'm sure somebody can help you out. But with me, I don't really have anybody to help me out. It's just me, like following up, doing the appointments. If I need coverage, like who can I find to help me with the showings or whatever I need to get done. So.
Well, does your office help you a little bit with that? Or
so they're pretty, all the agents, they're really helpful. I usually just send out an email and somebody responds, or I have a couple girls that work at my office that I know that I can just email them and they'll help.
So I was good Wednesday and Thursday because Aaron and Jose were at the office.
Okay.
But then they joined us, so it was like a team thing.
Oh, okay.
So Friday they were here, so Friday was rough. Friday we were at the pool and I had my laptop, so we'd like take a little swim, take some sun in, get some food, and then I like run to the cabana and I'm like, emails. Okay. All right, guys, let's go back another 15, 20 minutes and then come back and like, but that's what it is. You know, it's you can't completely disconnect. But I feel I think clients appreciate that because when they're in the middle of like buying a home, and you're like, oh, by the way, I'll be gone for a week. I'll see you later. They feel like, someone's still going to be there with their closing, with their listing, with their showing. So that's good. What are some of the, client feedback that you get from past clients that you've helped out? What's been like the 1 or 2 things that they've raved about you that they said, hey, Monica was great at doing ABC. Like, what's your top things out there?
Definitely availability.
Yeah.
Because one of them or a couple of them have been working or were working with another realtor.
Yeah.
So they weren't getting the service that they wanted and they switched over with me. So once I met with them, I said, this is the process. This is what we're going to do. And right off the bat, they were like, you're already like teaching me more than I learned with this other agent that showed me like 20 houses.
Yeah. I feel that's a common thing, unfortunately, in the last few years, just because, with COVID, there was like an influx of new, even on the lender side, there was a lot of new loan officers, a lot of new realtors that, props to you, right? We were new at one point. We had to start somewhere. Yeah. But a lot of the times they came in thinking that this was a very like easy job, I feel. Yeah. And when they kind of find out that it takes, you are self-employed. Yes, you can make your own hours, but the time and effort it takes to like learn and train. And not only that, but when you have the pre-approval, like you're not done yet. You have to find them the house. Yeah. And even when you find them the house, you're not done yet. Yeah. You still have to go through.
Even when they close, you're still not done yet because then they have questions about letters that they're getting in the mail or why am I getting this or why do I have to pay this? So it's always just being the person,
Yeah, and I feel that a lot of times they'll run into people like that where, they just got licensed. Maybe they're not 100%, available for them. And then they get discouraged. And a lot of people right now, they're just looking for any little excuse, I feel, to like back away. Because compared to 2020, 2021, it was like an amazing thing for you to want to buy a house. The media was talking nothing but great things, record low interest rates, right? There was, even if people were offering 10, 20,000 over, whatever, my rate's a 3, like I'm happy. But now I feel like lenders and realtors are kind of against the 8 ball or behind the 8 ball, how they say, because rates are high and these values are not crashing how people thought they would crash.
Yeah.
So it's already, and then the media negative, every time I turn on the highest interest rates that we've seen and the affordability. So it's definitely, it's the marketing for us is not there how it was before. So have you noticed that with some new first time buyers?
Yeah, I have. The sad part is that they were some of them were going to buy back in 2020. And then because they were listening to their parents or, someone that told them that the market was going to crash, they didn't buy, expecting the home values to go down. And now they didn't go down, but the rates are also a lot higher now.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it's always a good time to buy, especially if people are renting, because they're paying 100% interest, with the owner, with the landlord, versus owning their own home, regardless at what rate it's at. Just recently, I had a home inspection. The stepdad came to my home inspection.
Don't you love that?
In this case, I did.
Oh, okay.
So he was pretty positive with everything. I'm sure he knows everything and how to fix everything, because with everything that the inspector would say, he would always say, well, this isn't a deal breaker. We can fix this. It takes 5 minutes. So he knows how to fix everything. So when he asked me about the market, he asked me about the rate. So when I told him, he goes, that's it. Everybody's been saying that they're really high. He's like, anything under 10 is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, it just depends on who sees it and who's the one that communicates it to the buyer, because you really have to be experienced and know how the market is to get a better idea.
Well, that was a positive situation where a family member goes to the inspection and, or on the showing and, kind of back you up a little bit with the property itself. But have you ever had a negative experience when family comes to look at houses?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you dive into
quite a
one
few
example
times.
or two?
They'll bring the parents, and then the parents or an uncle or somebody that works in construction, and they'll start going against the inspector, telling him that it's a $10,000 fix, and the inspector's like, where are you getting $10,000 from? It's not that much. So I guess it's more a recommendation for the younger buyers. Just get informed, get quotes, talk to the professionals, because your parents might know some things, but they don't know everything, and you might lose a great house, with a good rate or whatever, and just because your parents or somebody was not okay with that. But at the end of the day, you should do what you want to do, because then you might lose out on a property going based off of what they told you.
Yeah, I actually today specifically, after today I had another, my final appointment for the day, but canceled. And all they said was, I was talking to my parents about me, coming out and applying, but I've decided against it, and I'm just gonna wait. So I could just imagine the conversation, what are you doing? No, there's no right. You don't want to buy right now. So I'm sure there's a lot of that.
I think right now what's happening is that a lot of the younger buyers are still living with their parents, or they're living with a lower rent amount. So that's why they're kind of scared to get a mortgage. It might be higher, or maybe they're going from paying nothing at their parents to actually paying a mortgage. But what are you going to do when, your parents pass away or whatever? You're not going to have anything under your name. So I'm very, I'm the first one to be talking about that, because when I bought my house, my dad, that was the first thing he was doing too. Oh, so really? I witnessed that firsthand, where he was like, your house is so ugly. It's all crooked.
What?
It's old. I bought a farm it's from 1910.
Okay.
So it's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
But we completely gutted it. And I had the vision. I knew what I was going to do with it. But my dad was just being super negative, and you shouldn't buy. Just save up and buy it cash. And I'm like, when am I going to save $500,000 to buy my dream house,
Right,
you know?
right.
So they have that like old school mentality where, okay, if you're not buying it cash, don't buy it. But that's not always the case. And I mean, I bought my house, I remodeled it. Now it's worth double than what I bought it for. And I mean, I put in a lot of work, but that's the beauty of buying and owning your own home, that whatever you put into it, you'll get the return. Yeah.
I feel like also getting informed on the number side, because the term rates are high. I mean, it doesn't really tell you anything.
No.
You know, it won't be until you see the taxes, the insurance, the price, boom, here you go. And a lot of times, sure, if after that you make a decision like, you know what, I have a $600 car payment and then $200 a month in credit card bills, I definitely don't have room for a $2,000 mortgage. Fine, then we'll come up with a game plan. In 2 years, you pay the car off, don't buy another car. In the same time period, you know, pay off your credit cards, and then maybe now you're in a better position. Because that's how I did it.
Yeah.
When I bought, I had my car note was like $650, and I was looking at the mortgage versus what I have now, and I was one of those that lived at home, so it's not like I had rent where I was already saving that much.
Yeah.
So I told myself, 18 months, my car is paid off. I'll buy a house, you know, as soon as it gets paid. And I think I was 6 months away from having it paid off when I started to look. And by the time I closed and made my first or second payment, there was no more car note. And as of, it's been 2-3 years almost, and no car note yet. But as soon as you pulled up on that Tesla, I'm like, I might have to get a car note because that Tesla looks great. But that's how people should do it, I feel.
And I agree. You know, if they can't afford it, definitely don't do it, because you don't want to just dig yourself in a hole. So I would just say get informed, talk to the professionals that can go over the numbers, can go over everything with you before you make a decision, but make sure it's your decision and you're not incorporating other people's comments into it, you know, because again, I recently had a client who backed out of a deal or a house because somebody told them that it was going to be a lot of money to fix it up, or, you know, it's hard because at the end of the day, like you can get your own quotes, you can see how much it's really going to be to get it fixed. And you're also, you have to keep in mind that with the rates now and the home prices, you're not going to find a move-in ready home at a lower price. Now they're a little bit higher. So it's always nice educating the clients right off the bat. And I hate to like break their dreams when they come and they're like, I have, you know, pre-approval for 220 and I want a 4-bedroom, this, that. And I'm like, okay, we can try to get you what you want. But at the same time, I tell them, like, in the area that you want to look into, it might be a little hard. Yeah. If you want something more like on the bigger side or more square footage or whatever, then we might have to leave or get a little bit out of the area that you're looking in. And that's when they actually find something.
That's interesting you say that, because a lot of times I'm the one that feels bad sending you like, here's 220, like they want 4 bed, you know, but I feel like it's a team thing, because I up front let them know, like, hey, look, if you're flexible with the area, here you go. But I feel like it's tougher on your end because you're the one that shows them the house.
Sending them the homes.
You're the one that's sending them. And you're like, Monica, nada más me estaban dando puras.
Yeah.
All these houses that, you know, who wants to live there?
That I don't like.
Yeah. But also,
But I always mention it. Yeah. So I always tell them, okay, well, what if we add these other cities or the towns that are nearby? They're a little bit further like than the range that you wanted to be in, but we might find something in the price or the, you know, square footage that you want to stay in. So sometimes they do decide to go out and sometimes they can't because of work, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
So.
And then they make the decision for themselves.
Yeah. So then they make a decision, either, you know, it has a basement where they can later finish it and add more bedrooms, or, you know, it just depends.
Okay. You also help tremendously with sellers as well.
I do.
When it comes to the difficulties on the seller side, I feel like it's more on the price, right? I feel like that right now is going to be the difficult part of where to price it, because again, we go back to the media, the marketing. Right now, record high sales. My neighbor just sold theirs for X amount. So when you take that initial consultation is that one of the biggest hurdles to get, like, where are we going to price it? And what's the game plan if it sits? Because you don't want it to sit.
Yeah.
You also don't want to price it too low because I'll do it by owner, but don't do it by owner. So how does that all gel together?
We have been noticing that they're starting to last a little bit longer on the market. Except there's some people that price them super low in order to get a bidding war and multiple offers and all of that.
Sneaky.
But I don't think that's fair also, because then you have people that are only approved for the list price. And then if you do have a multiple offer situation, they're not going to be able to go any higher and offer more. So I don't think it's fair for them. But it's, that's a tough situation right now.
Right there when you have them. Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, I feel like the owner has the last say, right?
Yeah.
Same with the buyer. If they want to put a specific offer, they have the last say. But once you get through that initial first weekend, second weekend to where, like, crickets, right? Nothing happens. You did the open house. One person came.
Yeah.
Is that you use that to, like, show the client, like, look, this is what's going on?
So we show them, these are how many showings we had. This is the feedback. And then they kind of go from there.
Okay.
If they want to lower it or,
Yeah.
I usually do another open home if it sits for too long.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just depends, because sometimes the homes, like, the clients won't like the layouts at all. So obviously that's not something we can change, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth the amount that it's listed at. So it's also finding the right buyer for the property.
Sure. Yeah.
And just kind of, because you have people that see the vision as soon as they walk in. Well, I can tear down this wall, or maybe do this, do that, make it more open. So if you get someone like that knows how to do it themselves, maybe, or they know they have somebody that can help, that makes it a lot easier as well. But
I don't have that. What you have, you mentioned when you found your house, you had the vision. For some reason, I'm very like, I need to see it.
Yeah.
So my dad's like that. My dad's like, no, like the mom will put it then. We could do this. We could do that. I walk in there. I'm like, no, if it's not moving ready, it's not for me. But everyone's different, right? And at the end of the day, that helps you maybe find that little gem that is in the rough that not a lot of people see. And then you're able to maybe get a deal out of it, because maybe it is just sitting there for a month and a half. And then on the buyer side, you can get a deal. What's your, I don't like to, when people ask me, what's your prediction about rates? But where do you see the market going into the next year with where we are now? Still sellers market, you think?
I feel like it'll still be a sellers.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think
especially
so too.
In the spring. I mean, I don't look at my numbers.
Yeah.
I hate looking at them, but my greatest amount of sales is always in the springtime.
Yeah.
And I already have clients that are going to be, ready to go next year. So, I pretty sure it's
so unless those builders hurry up and crank these houses out, it's still going to be a seller's market.
And then with the winter coming, it's going to be harder.
So again, a PSA to everybody that think the market's going to crash, like, there's no houses. So how do you crash something when there's not a lot for sale? So, if it's going to be something that's in your to-do list to buy a house this year to end the year or next year, get informed, like you mentioned, get the numbers, and then work with a team that's going to be there for you. Because, again, a lot of people have come into the business. A lot of people have left the business.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read those statistics.
Yeah, I have. My managing broker is part of the board in Main Street. So she always gives us the numbers.
Yeah.
These are how many people got their license, and then how many people either put their license on hold, or, they expired. So during COVID and after COVID, a lot of people were getting their realtor's license. I mean, I don't know if it's the same for lending, but I think once they saw the waves, and I'm pretty sure it has to be hard. I mean, with us, since we started before COVID, we kind of know what to expect. Right. You just have to be good at managing and just kind of going with the waves. So
I feel a lot of people right now are like, oh, it's back, after the rush of 2021, a little bit of 22, everyone's like, back to the basics. But I feel like our team has always done the basics.
Yeah.
Our team never has, gone away from talking numbers, following up, on the realtor side, open houses. Sure, they weren't as common before because they would sell a lot faster. But I think, the canvassing, the marketing, the getting in front of people, the events that you've been doing, these are things that, you don't notice it right away. But over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whether the market's down or up, you're still going to see a consistent level of turn time because you're more concentrated on the people, on the connections. Whereas someone that, got licensed, recently.
Thinking that it was easy.
But you know whose fault that is? It's your fault and it's my fault.
For making it look so easy.
Because we post the closing pictures, we post the positive stuff, but it's not until you actually get into it that you find out that it's tough, that someone's gonna apply, someone's gonna qualify, someone's gonna want to get out there and buy, someone's gonna ghost you, someone's gonna
everything. And you don't know until you're in the business.
Correct.
And it gets, it's hard, especially when you start off. So there's some people that started right before COVID and they did great, and maybe now not so much. There's other people that started after, so then they missed the wave. So it's just more of implementing your own techniques, doing, like you said, going back to the basics, but kind of just starting from the bottom pretty much. And but I agree. We've been doing this since then.
100%. Yeah, and it's a testament because you've only been doing this for a short number of years. But, I hear a lot of people say, if you can make it through this market, you can make it through any market. So,
well, I feel like I'm going on 6 years, kind of. But I feel like I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Everything that my coworkers saw in the past 20 years, I saw it in 5.
You're like, yep, I remember that. No, I've been there. Been there. Yeah, no, for sure. Because now you have social media. Now you have access to a lot more people on a faster rate than before when there was no internet, when you had to literally door knock and do this, where now you host events and social media and videos that you can reach a lot more people. So you're bound to run into scenarios where, they're like, oh, back in my day, you're like, no, this happened last week. That's where it was.
But another thing is also being ethical and working for the people, because a lot of people and in every business, I feel like they start off because of the income or whatever it may be, because of the business. But I think at the end of the day, whoever does it to actually help the people will succeed, because you're not doing it for yourself. Obviously you need to earn income because you need to live and eat, but at the same time you do it for them, because I love seeing them getting or being over the moon over their new house. I love them finding the dream house, the kids picking out the rooms. That's my favorite part, just seeing that they're reaching that dream and helping the ones that, like you said, setting them up on a game plan. Okay, you can't buy right now, but maybe when can we get you in? So it's just helping them, and whether it takes a year or 5 years, but we'll be there.
Yeah.
So
and I feel those are the biggest success stories, the biggest connections, and they'll stick with you for life. Those are the ones that show up to the events, that shout you out, that support you, and will tell the whole world to go contact you. And which makes it look easy, because then the clients come like that because of what you've been establishing. So no, amen to that, and continue rocking it out. I want to have you back here again, and then you can talk about more clients. I always end the show with goals, right? We all have goals. So we're towards the end of the year. What do you got to look forward to? It could be professional or business for the end of the year, or even into next year, or in the next 5 years. What are what's going on with you?
My end of year goal is to take another vacation.
Is this plus California or one
plus
more?
California.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Because we didn't go anywhere. It's just been a crazy year.
So this year, California's going to be your first.
Well, I went to Mexico.
Oh, come on.
But it wasn't a vacation. It wasn't a vacation because I went to go see my grandpa.
Oh, okay.
So, but besides that, I want to take a vacation with my kids and my husband and maybe my parents or something.
Nice.
Where we could just relax and stop
Anywhere
working.
in mind? Anywhere local or?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I want to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
So
that's a nice spot.
Yeah. But it won't happen this year, though. It'll probably be next year.
Okay. And then how about for next year, years after? Like, what do you see yourself in, like, business, professional, like anything?
I mean, personal, I would like to spend more time with my kids.
Good. How old are they?
One's 7 and the other one is 8 months. David and Anthony.
Who's the 8-month-old?
Anthony.
Aw.
Yeah.
Wow. Baby. And you just got married, which you were married. I was confused because you were married.
Everything happened this year.
And now you're married, but then you got married. So through the civil.
So we got married in 2021 through a court, but that was because of COVID. We couldn't have a ceremony.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I said, I'm only going to get married once and I'm going all out.
Good. And if you don't follow Monica on social media, look her up. And it was a blast. It was a blast. No, you know how to throw a party. Next time I'm throwing a party, you're gonna coordinate because those pictures look lit. So
yeah, El Recodo's coming to your party.
Yes, that's what I want. No budget for this party, 100%. But congrats again on that.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, keep fighting towards those goals. I mean, when I had you in mind to invite, you just seem like a super down to earth person, and I'm glad you made the time, and hopefully you come on again. So if you want to connect with Monica, we'll have her info on the next slide here. And this has been another episode of The Final Walkthrough. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.